Welcome back to the channel. We're an adventure with Nick and Rachel, and we bring you the best places to hike and explore in the Southeast and more. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more awesome places like this. Today we are at Fort Pulaski National Monument. It's right off of Tybee Island on Cockspur Island, Georgia. And we are going to explore the fort and give you some history and tell you about its significance in the Civil War and then later as part of the Underground Railroad. So let's go check it out. So one fact that we've learned so far is that Lieutenant Robert E. Lee, he built and engineered the ditches and the dikes system to keep the land dry to be able to build the fort and have the fort here. That was really interesting.
Yeah, and it showed
a really complex system of ditches and dikes.
It was he did this when he was very young too. Most people remember him with a big beard, and as an older man, it showed him on a picture and he was clean shaven, looked like he was in his early 20s.
Yeah, he looked really young.
But yeah.
The moat surrounds the entire fort.
It's 7 foot
deep. You can see on the side of the fort where cannonballs and stuff hit.
That definitely looks like where they were attacked. If you scroll through here, I'm gonna just pan real quick, you can see all the damage. It looked like it taken. You can see the cannon sticking out of that hole right there, or that one right there. We'll go in there in a minute, but we're out here trying to walk around before it starts pouring down rain to check it out, what it looks like on the outside.
So as you can see, all of these spots on the outside of the wall were from the 30-hour attack, the only attack that happened here, the only part of the war that happened here. From that 30-hour attack, there were 5,275 shots and shells fired at Fort Pulaski.
That's crazy. You definitely see the damage of it, especially that side over there.
So it says a few of the shots fired at the fort remain lodged in its thick brick walls. Look at this shot near the top of the 7-shaped scar in front of you. So that 7-shaped scar right in the center of
I see
the
it.
7, you see it?
Yeah, I definitely see it.
That's cool.
You can see that cannonball lodged in the wall right there in the middle, right there at the end. So if you're looking, trace this right here, that spot, it's right there. There's a cannonball stuck in the wall. It's pretty neat. And look at those guys, they're just hanging out in the massive hole that got blown into the side of their house. That's where they lived.
Well, yeah. They had spinning projectiles. That's crazy. So once considered unbreachable, the fort's walls proved no match for the spinning projectiles of this new technology.
That's crazy.
They surrendered the Confederate fort before the incoming shells exploded the powder magazine, which would have destroyed the entire garrison. Yeah, had a surrender too. Yeah. All of us get blowed up.
Look at all them cannons up there. Could you imagine just coming through this land, this swamp land, and just
march,
just sending a rain of cannonballs down here and marching up on a brick fortress? You had to have balls of steel to do that. That is think about
especially
it. That's crazy.
That was thought to be unbreachable.
Yeah.
When you drive in here, one of the first things you see are these wonky looking hills, and that's what Nick pointed out. He said that's the only thing I remember when I came here as a kid is why does the earth look weird? Why does it look like that? Well, this is called a Demilune. It's the triangular piece of land, and it's bordered by all sides of the moat, and it protects this back wall of the fort. But it used to be flat. It used to not have the big old hills when the fort was first built. But after the war, they covered it with these hills, and the large earthen mounds built after the war overlay 4 powder magazines and passageways to several gun emplacements. So that's what it is. It's protecting those powder rooms and gun emplacements.
Yeah, when I was here as a little kid, my granddad and my grandmother brought me here, and I was like 8 years old. So that's one of the main things I remember. Obviously, I remember the cannons because that was cool to me, but the hills stood out. I mean, you can actually walk on top of them like those people are doing. They stood out to me. I didn't understand what they were when I was little, but kind of like the Hobbit mounds or something to me, or I guess like I don't know why it stuck with me, but like just I guess seeing hills like that, it's kind of crazy looking.
What's crazy to me is like you point out like you came when you were like 8 years old. I came for the first time when I was like 8 or 9 years old. It was like me and all my brothers and sisters. There's a picture of us sitting on one of these cannons inside, which I'll show you. We're all sitting on it, and like my brothers are hanging off of it. It's a cute picture.
Yeah, it brings back good memories because, like I said, my grandparents brought me here. My grandfather like passed away last year, so it's been, you know, a long time. I was lucky and fortunate enough and blessed to have him around up until my 30s. So most people don't get that, and I'm really thankful for that. I had a lot of good memories, especially when I was little, going places with them when they were in good health and stuff. So this was one of the places that we shared good memories, and it just brings me back. It's pretty cool.
So we've just made our way around the entire fort, and we're walking to the bridge to head inside. And I just wanted to share like some cool information about what this fort was used for after the war. So it was actually part of the Underground Railroad. So after the war, many enslaved people would make their way to Fort Pulaski, some under the guidance of a formerly enslaved man, March Haynes. Under the cover of darkness, Haynes would bring hundreds of escaped slaves to the Union command at Fort Pulaski. Once on the island, the newly freed slaves took up residence in the fort's old workers' village. Many of the men who arrived at Fort Pulaski joined together to form one of the 1st Colored Troops Division during the Civil War. These men became the members of the 1st and 3rd South Carolina Volunteers, seeing action late in the war. Due to General David Hunter's orders, hundreds of freedom seekers gained their freedom at Fort Pulaski and Cockspur Island, one of the southernmost points on the vast Underground Railroad network. So I thought that was a really awesome thing to hear.
Yeah, so it served as a place of imprisonment at one point.
Imprisonment and freedom.
And freedom, so that's pretty neat.
Multi-use fort we have here.
It's pretty cool though. The history here is amazing, like just from like the dark and what she just said, like the really good part of it, like it's just so up and down. Like it's pretty cool. Really interesting. If you're ever in this part of Georgia, you definitely got to come check this place out.
Yeah.
Trust me, like I said, me and her visited when we were little kids. Even if you bring your little kids, they'll remember this forever. Like I just turned 35, and I remember bits and pieces of the cannon and the hills and the moat. I was convinced that there was like alligators in that moat when I was a kid. But
that's what you see in all the movies.
So it's a great place for everybody, really. You get to learn some really cool history, and you get to see some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so like, and Savannah has a lot of history and a lot of beautiful places and interesting places to see. So this whole area is definitely, if you're into history, this is definitely somewhere you should come.
So this is, I guess, their bunkhouse. You can see like what I guess their bunk would have looked like. Had a fireplace here. I'm not sure what is that cabinet?
Oh, so look at the hole in it. It's so weird.
It's like almost as if they can see. Maybe something, I don't know what that is, but they got a big fireplace there. And then they would have their guns. They would count up. There's a little musket. They ain't muskets though. They had a little. And right now, we're in their supply closet. What do they keep in here?
Housed everyday necessities like soap and uniforms, along with simple items such as lanterns, oil, and wicks to brighten dark spaces before the advent of electricity. Also maintain communication equipment, including red and white signal flags and small arms such as muskets and pistols. This room also contains tools for loading and firing the fort's cannons, long wooden poles with metal spirals and sponges used for loading and cleaning the barrels. In the back corner, one of the corners, large wooden poles known as maneuvering spikes.
Those are what they push the things down into the cannonballs with.
Serve as levers to help position the heavy cannons for fire.
So this is where they would have had church. Had their little pews and everything. I guess they have regular services. Oh, it connects. Everything connects.
They have no way to defend the outside of the fort. So, throughout the first day.
Now you can see why they thought it was impenetrable. Just a massive fortress. It's almost crazy that it got overtaken like that in 30 hours.
See the fire, the smoke coming out.
What's that?
The smoke from the fireplace.
Oh yeah, there's a... Oh, it smells good too. There's smoke coming out right here. They're doing a little class under us.
I can feel the warmth from the wall.
And there is those big mounds. You got way ahead of me. Goes to show you how big. I got my camera zoomed in all the way. This fort's huge. And then it just looked out the window. We've seen people coming up through the battlefield through there, and they would have just been firing cannonballs at them. It's crazy. So you go from looking like this to looking like that.
Dang.
Prison's right there with those gates. Tell them about the prisoners.
The prisoners were fed starvation rations, which was a handful of cornmeal and pickles every single day, and then whatever rats and cats they could find.
And that was the Confederate soldiers that were prisoners.
Prisoned here. Yeah. There was, it said stuff about
There was a
revenge
ton of,
tactics,
yeah.
and that it was horrible.
I've seen documentaries and stuff, and that's why people are led to believe this is like the most haunted place in the country because of the atrocities that happened here. Mm-hmm. You see this right now? This is what guarded the bridge for those people coming in. Well, there was people walking in, but this cannon right here shot people off the drawbridge. I guess if they was to come up like the two towers in the Lord of the Rings, this is what they needed. So we just seen something cool on this right here in this brick right there.
That's a nearly 200-year-old puppy dog, Brent.
He left his mark on a national monument. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
People did that. I wonder if they laid it upright like that after it was made on purpose, or if it was just an accident.
Colonel Olmsted.
He surrendered in this room. This is where he gave up the fort. He was only 25 when his men elected him to be the leader of this fort.
26 when he surrendered.
26 when he surrendered. But yeah, there's the little scene recreated right there. There's his picture. That's 25-year-olds back then. They look like they've been through some things.
They had all war. So, Friends of Georgia State Parks, if you guys have probably heard us talk about them before in some of our other Georgia State Parks videos. but we've partnered with them. They're a really great organization. They're a nonprofit organization that partners with the state parks and the historic sites in Georgia to help preserve and support and promote those parks. And they do a lot of awesome things. So if you ever buy a state park pass, you're actually buying it from Friends of Georgia State Parks. And that goes to them to help support the state parks in Georgia. So there's actually 5 levels of those state park passes. You purchase those to become a member of Friends of Georgia's state parks and historic sites, and you're also given that money to help support our parks. And so those 5 levels, the most basic one, you start out with just the year park pass to get into the parks for free, so you don't have to pay that $5 or $10 to go into the park to park in the park. But after that, as you go up in levels, you get like free campsites, like free pavilion uses. There's a lot of really awesome benefits to those. Outside of that, some other things that they do, if you've got kiddos, you can do the Junior Ranger program. So they support the Junior Ranger program at all of the state parks, and that's a really awesome thing for your kids to learn about their environment, about natural places, and how to be better
stewards of the land, and
a better steward of
take
our
care of our parks. And
we accidentally forgot it, but we got a little stamp to go in it.
Yeah, I'll put it on screen.
Yeah, is the passport book. So if you like to keep track of the places that you've gone, like the parks and stuff, you can get a passport book. Online, you can get it with a donation of $20, or if you go into any state park office, you can get it for like $12.99, I think, and you can put the stamps in it and keep your log of when you went to those state parks.
Yeah, it's like a cool, like a national park,
really cool.
state park, or it's national park stamp pass. This is just a state park for Georgia one. It looks really cool.
It's really nice.
And it's got pictures and information in it.
Yeah,
it looks really nice.
It's really nice. I like it.
That was my favorite edition this year. I think that was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
So we're not like paid to speak about this or anything. We just really enjoy this as a program, and just we want our state parks to look good. We also with volunteer work, that's a big thing that they are about. So if you want to mention that, or we already talk about that.
Yeah, so when you become a member, you can volunteer with Friends of Georgia State Park. They have all kinds of projects all year long that you can do. One thing that's coming up is an event that they're sponsoring.
Yeah, the 5K.
Yeah, it's a 5K. So if you're a fan of Bob Ross, you'll like this one. So it is called, let's see, my brain blanked.
Happy Little Trees.
Yeah, Happy Little Trees 5K run that they're gonna have. It's April, let me tell you the exact dates so I don't get it wrong. So April 19th through the 27th. You can sign up for the run, the 5K run. You can do it virtually or in person. There are going to be some state parks that host it, but you can also do it virtually in your own time during that time period. It's $36, and you'll get a keepsake t-shirt. It looks cool. It's got like some Bob Ross inspired, and a Bob Ross inspired finisher's medal, and a bib number. So that's just a really fun way. I did sign up. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing it. I'll show you my t-shirt when I get my t-shirt. And so it's just a fun way to support our state parks. So the money goes to planting trees in our state parks or historic sites.
Yeah.
I know what was mentioned was, what is that, Winslow?
Yeah.
Wormslow. They had planted trees over there last year for the run. But yeah, it's just a fun and creative way to support our parks.
So we'll leave our discount code and all that stuff. It's like it's always been. It's going to be in the description of our videos. It'll be in the pinned comment of our videos, and you can check it out on our link tree. Yes. And you can use our discount code to get 15% off of the entire any membership you pick. We'll give you 15% off using the code that they provided for us, and we'd like to thank the people over there at this awesome organization for sponsoring us, and giving us that discount code for you guys to enjoy.
Yeah, check them out. Volunteer, help keep our parks beautiful. So check out Friends of Georgia State Parks and Historic Sites. All right, so that was Fort Pulaski, a little piece of Georgia history. There's so much history here at Fort Pulaski, even though it only lasted 30 hours, the battle here during the Civil War. There's just so much other history that surrounds this fort with the Underground Railroad, and it was just really cool to learn all of those interesting facts and to see where things took place and about the prisoners. Like, that was just a crazy fact about a handful of cornmeal and pickles for every single day. Like, that was a very cool fact to learn. But it's just really cool to see. We hope you enjoyed getting to tour the fort with us. There are some other trails leading out to the lighthouse where you can see that up close. There's also this trail, it's the North Pier Trail. And so yeah, we really enjoyed it. We hope you guys enjoyed it and learning a little bit about Fort Pulaski here in Georgia. Thank you guys for joining us. If you like this video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on any more awesome places to see in Georgia. We look forward to seeing you on the next adventure. Georgia has so much variety when it comes to outdoor spaces, from mountains to beaches to waterfalls and lakes and even swamps. If you're interested in seeing more of this beautiful state and its parks, you can check out our Georgia State Parks playlist pinned on this end screen.